Picture this. It's late September, the air feels a little cooler, and while most gardeners are winding down for the year, you could actually be sowing tiny seeds that will surprise you with incredible blooms next spring and summer. The truth is, there are a handful of perennials that thrive when started right now, and I'm going to show you exactly which ones, how to sow them, and why late September might just be your secret weapon for a stunning garden next year. Welcome back to Serene Green Gardens, the place where we believe you don't have to spend a fortune to create the garden of your dreams. And if you're new here, I'm so glad you found us. This is your little corner of peace learning and garden inspiration. Before we dive into today's list, do me a quick favor. Hit that like button if you love getting fresh, budget-friendly garden tips. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell because, trust me, you won't want to miss the next video where I'll be sharing a simple trick that makes even the most stubborn seeds germinate faster. Alright, let's jump in because these 7 perennials are not the usual suspects you see in every garden guide. And once you know them, you'll never look at September the same way again. Number 1 on our list is Echinacea purpurea. You probably know it as Purple Coneflower. Now, before you scroll past thinking, oh, I've seen that before, let me stop you right there. Planting Echinacea in late September changes the game. Why? Because the cooler soil temperatures mimic the plant's natural rhythm, almost like tricking the seed into thinking it's already experienced a winter. This means by next spring, you don't just get a little tuft of green, you get a stronger root system that's ready to push out tall, vibrant blooms earlier and longer than if you had sown it in spring. Here's the part most gardeners miss: Echinacea. Seeds actually need a period of cold to germinate properly. By sowing them now, you're letting nature do the hard work for you. No fancy fridge stratification, no complicated hacks, just tuck the seeds into well-drained soil, water lightly, and let the autumn rains take care of the rest. And beyond beauty, there's a hidden bonus. Echinacea is a pollinator magnet. Bees, butterflies, even little songbirds adore it, which means sowing it now sets you up for not just a colorful garden, but a lively one, buzzing with life. So while most folks are packing away their seed trays, you'll be ahead of the curve sowing a plant that practically rewards patience with fireworks come summer. Second on our list is Lupine. A plant that doesn't just bloom, it paints your garden like an artist with a brushstroke of color. Now, here's the twist. Most gardeners wait until spring to sow lupine, but September is the secret window. Why? Because lupine seeds have a tough outer coat, almost like natural armor. In cooler autumn soil, that coat starts to break down slowly and gently, giving the seeds exactly what they need to sprout strong when spring warmth arrives. Planting in late September saves you the trouble of manually nicking or soaking the seeds, which many gardeners find tricky. Nature takes care of the scarification process for you, so by next year, instead of struggling seedlings, you'll have tall, statuesque spires bursting with purples, blues, and even bicolor blooms. And here's a little detail many people overlook. Lupine is a natural soil fixer. Its roots pull nitrogen from the air and feed it back into your garden bed, which means while you're sowing beauty, you're also quietly enriching your soil for other plants. So, if you want a perennial that delivers drama and color and does double duty as a soil improver, sowing lupine now in September is like giving your future garden a head start that most gardeners will wish they knew about. Third on our list is Columbine, also known as aquilegia. If you've never sown it in September, you're missing out on one of gardening's most magical tricks. These seeds actually prefer a chill before they wake up. By sowing them now, the natural cold conditioning of autumn and winter gives you stronger, earlier germination come spring. But here's the part that makes Columbine stand out. It isn't just about the blooms, though. Their delicate lantern-shaped flowers look like something out of a fairy tale. It's about where they bloom. Columbine thrives in those awkward, half-shaded corners of your garden where most flowers hesitate. Plant them now, and next year those forgotten spots will sparkle with pinks, blues, and yellows that seem to glow in dappled light. And there's another surprise. Columbines attract hummingbirds like a magnet. Imagine sipping your morning tea and seeing those tiny wings hover over your flowers. That's the gift Columbine brings when you sow at the right time. So while most gardeners are buying expensive shade plants next spring, you'll already have a head start because you took advantage of September's quiet magic. Fourth on our list is the enchanting foxglove. And if you've only ever seen it in pictures, you'll understand why it's worth sowing now. These tall spires covered in bell-shaped flowers look like something out of a medieval garden, dramatic, mysterious, and a little wild. Here's the secret. Foxglove is a biennial, which means if you sow it in spring, you often won't get flowers until the following year. But if you sow it now, in late September, you're giving the plant the time it needs to grow sturdy foliage this year, survive winter, and then explode with towering blooms by next summer. That's shaving a whole year off the waiting game. And let me tell you, foxgloves aren't just pretty. Their vertical form draws the eye upward, making small gardens feel taller and more layered. Plus, they're irresistible to bumblebees. The flowers are like little tunnels tailor-made for them. So, while your neighbors are buying ready-grown foxgloves next year at premium prices, yours will already be standing tall, looking like you cast some secret gardening spell. Now, before we move on to the next perennial, I'd love to hear from you. Tell me in the comments, have you ever tried sowing seeds in late September? Or do you usually wait until spring? I'm curious to know how many of you are brave enough to give the autumn window a try. And if you're finding these tips helpful so far, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. It really helps more garden lovers find our little Serene Green family. And of course, if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that red button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on the gardening secrets we share here every week. Fifth on our list is the graceful Siberian iris. Now, this one doesn't get nearly enough attention, and that's a shame because it's one of the most elegant perennials you can sow in September. Unlike the flashy bearded iris that demands a lot of fuss, the Siberian iris is tough, reliable, and once established, almost carefree. Here's the uncommon bit. Its seeds actually benefit from being sown in cool soil and left to overwinter outdoors. That cold period tells the seed it's safe to sprout when the warmth comes. By the time spring rolls around, you'll get sleek grass-like foliage that quickly matures into tall, arching stems carrying delicate violet-blue flowers that almost look painted with watercolor. And here's why it's a game changer. Siberian iris thrives in spots where many perennials struggle. Got damp soil near a pond or a patch that stays moist longer than the rest of your garden? Perfect. These irises love it. But they're also surprisingly drought tolerant once they settle in, so they adapt beautifully. Planting them in September sets you up for years of elegant, almost regal blooms that return faithfully without demanding constant care. It's one of those quiet perennials that makes visitors stop and ask, "What's that flower? I've never seen anything like it." Sixth on our list is the mysterious Hellebore, sometimes called the Lenten rose. Now, if you've ever dreamed of flowers that bloom when nothing else dares to write in the cold gray days of late winter, this is your plant. Here's the secret. Hellebore seeds are tricky. They lose their ability to germinate if you let them sit too long in a packet, but sow them fresh in September, and you're working in perfect harmony with their natural cycle. The seeds nestle into the soil, sleep through winter, and then quietly wake up as the days begin to lengthen. By next year, you'll have seedlings preparing to deliver those dramatic, downward-facing blooms in shades of cream, pink, burgundy, even near black. And here's what makes hellebores so special, they're evergreen perennials. That means, while most of your garden goes bare in winter, hellebores keep their foliage, adding texture and life when you need it most. And when those blooms finally appear, often poking through snow, they feel like nature's little act of defiance against winter's gloom. Sowing them now doesn't just give you flowers, it gives you hope in the months when gardens usually feel silent. Seventh, and saving one of the most striking for last, is sea holly. If you've never grown it before, imagine metallic blue thistles standing tall and spiky, catching the light like jewels in the garden. It's bold, it's architectural, and it's unlike any other perennial you'll own. Here's why late September is the golden moment. Sea holly seeds actually need a cold period to break their dormancy. Sowing them now gives you that natural stratification. By spring, the seedlings emerge stronger, and by summer, you'll have those shimmering blooms that look almost sculpted out of steel blue glass. But here's the twist most people don't realize. Sea holly thrives in poor, dry soil where other flowers sulk. That scrappy toughness means you can tuck it into those difficult spots, gravel paths, rocky borders, even sandy patches, and it will not only survive, but thrive. And the bonus? Pollinators can't resist it. Bees adore the spiky flower heads, and if you love cut flowers, sea holly holds its shape beautifully, even dried, making it a florist's dream. Planting it now in September isn't just about adding a perennial. It's about adding a conversation piece that makes people stop and stare, asking, what on earth is that stunning plant? And there you have it. 7 perennials you can quietly sow in late September that will transform your garden into a masterpiece next year. From the fairy tale Columbine to the bold sea holly, each of these plants proves that gardening isn't just about working harder. It's about working smarter with nature's timing. Now, I'd love to hear from you out of these 7. Which one surprised you the most? Drop your answer in the comments below. I really enjoy reading your thoughts and learning from your experiences too. If you found today's video inspiring, give it a thumbs up. It really helps more garden lovers find Serene Green Gardens. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, because in the next video, I'll be sharing a simple, low-cost trick to make even the trickiest seeds germinate faster than you thought possible. Until then, take a deep breath. Step into your garden, and remember, beauty doesn't have to cost a fortune. Sometimes it just takes the right seed at the right time. See you soon.